All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our final Tuesdays with the team. I'm delighted to have such a great group with me and a huge part of the Havergal team, and that is our parents and our old girls. So lots of great questions submitted for today's webinar. For those of you who I haven't met yet, my name is Maggie Houston-White, and I'm the Executive Director of Strategic Enrollment Management here at the school. Quite a long title, but what that means is I oversee recruitment, admission, and retention of students at Havergal. And part of retention at Havergal is not just for our students, it's for our families. We are definitely a school, as one of our students said so aptly the other day, we're a school that feels more like a community than a school. And part of being a community means your whole family is engaged. So I thoroughly enjoy engaging with the HCPA, our Parents Association, with all of our parents. As our numbers continue to rise, we'll just give it a minute before we start, but I will let you know we've had some terrific parent coffee mornings. Again, so grateful for the facilities we have here on campus that allow us to safely get together with our parents. Tanuja, who's on our call today, is one of our parents in the junior school, and we had a chance to finally see each other face to face last week at the grade 6 coffee morning. And Kendra, who's on the call, is both a parent and an old girl. And she was just discussing how great it was to be together with all of the grade 1 and 2 parents this morning. So we are excited that not only is our school year going exceptionally well and that we're able to offer so many of our co-curricular programs, but that we're able to have our partners as our parents on our campus and engaged in the school once again. So it looks like our numbers are leveling off, and I'd love to get started. So today, as you know, when you signed up, is a 30-minute webinar, just an opportunity for us to answer the questions that you submitted about what's it like to be a parent at Havergal? What is the feel as a parent at Havergal? How can I get involved? And what does it mean to be an old girl? So I'm going to get right to the list of questions that were submitted. We did condense some of the questions. There were some great ones put forward. And I'm going to start by having our panelists introduce themselves and answer this question. Families are all searching for the right school for their child, and we hear each school talk about fit. What made HC the right fit for your family? So Lisa, I'm going to get you to start. Maybe you can introduce yourself and your role and answer that question.
Hi, thank you, Maggie. My name is Lisa Windover. I'm one of the co-chairs for the HCPA for the next 2 years. My daughter Caitlin started in grade 7 at Havergal, and when we were looking at Havergal for schools, we were really looking for the right sort of combination of very strong academics, but also strong athletics, because our daughter is a competitive hockey player, and we wanted a school that offered both the academics and the athletics, but also the arts program. My daughter played the drums and guitar. So finding a school that had all 3 of those components at a strong, competitive level was really important to us. And we found that at Havergal. And we've been very happy with our choice.
It's incredible to think I met you all those years ago applying to grade 7, and now you're a grad parent. Alnar, let's hand it over to you. Maybe you could talk about your role and why Havergal was the right fit for your family.
Okay, thank you, Maggie. Good afternoon, everybody. And it's very nice to be able to have this opportunity to address all of you and speak to you about what we consider to be our Havergal family. So we have a daughter that started in JK, and she is currently in grade 5. So this is her 7th year at the school. So definitely a veteran for sure. We do know that there are a lot of variables to consider when you're looking for the right fit for the school, not only for your daughter, but also for parents as well. One of the primary things that our family looked into was the relationship between the faculty, the staff, and the educators and school administrators. So right from the get-go, we felt that there was a true partnership with everybody at the school, that we were all on the same page and basically working and collaborating together. And we were essentially on the same team. And our ultimate goal was to have our daughter reach her full potential. Whatever that might be for each girl is different, but for our daughter, that's what we were looking for. So we thought of this relationship as more of a tripod. If you can picture that, with the student, her parents, and also with the educators. And there is a delicate balance that goes along with this. And that is what our experience has been, that this has been achieved all along, right from when Zaylin started her first day at school. We have had accessibility to the educators, to the heads of school. It's always an open door policy, and everybody just seems to be on the same page, working for the same goal. The health and safety of the girls is at the forefront. Their well-being is a primary consideration, and helping these girls to be their best selves is pretty much everything that all of us are working towards.
Thanks, Alnar, and thank you too for all of your work over the years. It's as a grade rep and as the co-chair of the HCPA, it's been such a pleasure working with you and your daughter. Michelle, I'm going to turn it over to you. Maybe you could talk a little bit about what made you choose Havergal and your role at Havergal.
Yeah, hi. My name is Michelle Yang. Actually, we joined Havergal not that long, just 2 years ago. I have two girls. We joined as grade 1 and grade 7, but one at junior school, one at upper school. Yeah, when I choose the school, we're really looking into the academic and also the the self-development for the girls, like the growth to reach their full potential. I have 3 girls, one already off to the university. I picked them, like I look at all the schools actually to look for the right fit for the girl. It's just not that you have to go check the school. You have to check, feel the vibe, especially let the kids feel the vibe. So when my 2 girls, they visit Havergal, they really love it. And special, they look at the art exhibition for all the grade students, and they enjoy the facilities there. So I think that's the first thing. I would let the kids to feel it, and they love it.
Well, and we love having your girls here as well. And I think you were pretty unique in having a grade 1 and a grade 7 start. So you definitely know all about Havergal from both ends of the spectrum. And you're right about feeling that vibe. That's why we had such great feedback from our outdoor open house. And of course, you can tour our campus anytime outside through our QR code tour, and our Instagram, both our student-led Instagram and our school Instagram, is a great source of information for what's going on in the school. So another family who's got an interesting story here. Tanuja, do you want to introduce yourself and talk about your journey here?
Sure. Thank you, Maggie. I'm pleased to be here. Thank you for including me. I'm currently a junior school grade rep convener, co-convener. And I have 3 girls at Havergal. Maya is my oldest. She's currently in grade 11, and I have one in grade 9 and one in grade 6. Maya joined in grade 3, and my second daughter joined in grade 1. And at the time when we were looking at, we actually didn't look at any other schools. We only applied to Havergal. We fell in love with the campus. We fell in love with the facilities. And just the heritage and the traditions around the school. We had heard about the school from other friends and colleagues of my husband, and that's the school we wanted to send our daughters to. And then as they got in and they experienced the school, we just fell in love with the faculty, the staff, and just everything. The academics, the art program, as well as the sports programs, athletics. And then just the diversity of the school as well is something that was really special for us as a family.
Well, it won't be long until you're a past parent, but I hope you really enjoyed these special years, and I'm glad that we're all back on campus this year for your daughters to experience those years. Now, last but certainly not least, we have Kendra Thompson with us, and when we talk about history and tradition, it seemed like a great segue to you, Kendra. Maybe talk about your journey and why Havergal remains a great fit for you.
So I went to Havergal myself from grade 7 to graduation. And for me, it was a very important foundational experience, both in terms of my self-confidence, my career, my friendships, and my value system. And that foundation is the foundation on which, along with my family, and likely some of the things I gained from going to McGill, are really the anchors and most important socializing factors in my life. So I have a very probably different perspective as a parent, because I see the long game, which is a lifetime membership in a community of awesome women who look out for each other, who celebrate each other's lives, who help each other in the career world, who are there when, you know, things go wrong, and are there when there's something really awesome going on in your life. And certainly that's been the case for me. I maintain very close friendships with the girls that I went to Havergal with, and we co-parent together, we travel together, and many of our daughters are now attending Havergal together. For me, it was never a debate. I didn't look at any other schools. My vision was to have 2 daughters, which luckily I had no control over, but got, and to have them both go to Havergal. And I feel grateful, frankly, every day. The things that matter to me in this school, I agree. The importance of the competitive sports programs, athletics are there. I haven't yet had to avail of them because my daughters are in grade 3 and grade 1, but I'm really interested in sport, and my girls play quite competitively outside of school. But the thing that matters most to me is the shared value system, the caring environment, the whole girl approach. And when I look at the women around me who went to Havergal and what they've done with their lives, you know, the world really has been their oyster. And that's what I want for my girls. I don't have a single vision for where they'll land, but I want them to feel good about themselves, good about their friendships, and good about their place in the world. And I want them to be leaders in whatever capacity they decide to be. So for me, it's just been awesome. And it's like going home. I was saying to Maggie before the call kicked off, we had our grade 1 and 2 mom and dad morning coffee today at the school, in the new facility in the junior school, which is beautiful. And it was just so nice just to be able to be together with a group of people who, yes, might not have all gone to the same schools or grown up in the same cities or have the same background, but that diversity is really a strength, and it's a connection that we have together, and it's a really warm environment. So for me, that's what really mattered, and I've gotten it in spades, Maggie, as you know.
Well, thank you for that, Kendra. And I think, you know, our new parents who are brand new to Havergal really value the community that the old girls and the old girl parents really help instill in everybody, and having people who are really comfortable at the school really helps our brand new families know how quickly they are valued, how much they and their children are welcome at our school, and how much we appreciate everybody's engagement. And when you talk about that lifelong membership, I had the opportunity last week. It was my first time traveling since this pandemic, and we were presenting at a conference with our principal, and we put a call out to students in the Boston area. So we have some students at Harvard and Northeastern, and even as far away as Dartmouth and Tufts who came down. And seeing those students come together, the range was, we had a graduate from the class of 1953. If you can believe that, I'll leave you to do the math there. To girls who graduated last year, and just that sense of camaraderie and support that they all had for one another. I'm thrilled to meet Dr. Sampson, our new principal, and it was a great event and a great reminder that Havergal does not, you know, you are not finished with Havergal when you graduate, and Havergal is certainly not finished with you. The support is definitely there. So when we talk about different ages and stages and different points in your life, Michelle and Tanuja, you both spoke about having daughters at different stages of development. And Tanuja, I'll start with you. When you think of your daughter's growth through the junior school, and now you've experienced the upper school, where do you think, where are the supports that you've seen that have really helped your daughters in their growth and development through the school?
For us, or for my daughters, I guess specifically, I would say this definitely the sense of community, prayers. Like, I think that just brings the school together, and they've learned a lot about other cultures, or just a lot about different ways to grow. And just exploring different opportunities as well within the schools. Like, they don't always have to excel at things, so they always wanted to try new things, creativity, in terms of arts or just athletics or music, and just choir as well. Like, there's all kinds of opportunities for them to learn how to grow and experience life. And I think that just continues through to the upper school as well. Like, my oldest, she's tried so many different things throughout all of her years, and I'm seeing, like, she's still so confident, and she's gathered all this confidence in herself. And when I look at her, I just think of this capable young woman that is just ready to go out into the world and just take anything on, because of the value and the foundation that she got at the school, and the education, obviously.
And that confidence really does get built with being able to try things and to succeed or fail and discover, yes, I have a passion for this, or good grief, that isn't what I thought it was going to be. But you really discover who you are and really discover your strengths in that. And I'm glad you mentioned prayers, because it's such a pivotal, such an important part of Havergal, and it is prayers with a capital P, but such a hard thing to describe. And it really is about community and understanding and building awareness of our community and the communities beyond Toronto. And I love the fact that during COVID, our students really pushed to make sure we kept prayers, and we did. And we were able to invite parents virtually to participate in prayers. And watching the students for the first time when they were able to go physically back into prayers has just been a delight. So as we move forward and we can bring more parents into the school for events, I know parents will appreciate being back in that space as well. So Michelle, having daughters in two different divisions, what would you say have been great supports for them as they've started their journey here at Havergal?
Well, I couldn't agree more. The prayer did play a big role, and I was amazed by all the theme every week. And I would like to share a little story. Just like last month, I was reading the story with my younger one right now, grade 2, and then she asked me a question. Say, "Mommy, it's so difficult to ask for help." And then I was thinking, because I'm not ready to how to tackle that problem for like the self-awareness or something underneath. And then next day I saw on Seesaw post and the teacher what they talking about how to ask for help. And then that's a whole video there. I said, wow, amazing, how it coming like such right time and the right theme. I say, wow, that's exactly how I like, everything, like they get ready for each stage, the girls, the self-awareness or the self-confidence, how to build it. It's from all those little step. I think starting, wow, I just like that. I said, I have to tell this story, And then for the upper school, for my grade 8 girl, and then I think it's more, I also have a story. It's more about the, involvement and into the community, and they have the sense of the community, they are formed, they have all the weekly get together, even during the pandemic for the virtual events. And then I think it's that one day she was sick at home. I kept her at home. And then Miss Patterson just gave me a call and say, today is they voted for the form representative or the chair, and say they want every student to participate. and then ask, Claire, grade 8, and say, can you go online to do that? Even you're not in school, but you still need to participate. I think that's two stories exactly tell different stage and how Havergal then support.
Yeah, and that sense of inclusion. Thank you for sharing those stories. That sense of inclusion is so important. And, a few parents asked about the benefits of an all-girls education, and that's one of them. We know girls and girls' development exceptionally well. We believe in it. We believe in ensuring that all of our students know they have a voice, they have a place at the table, and they matter. And really understanding as they learn and grow what it is that they need, and partnering with parents. What do parents need? What are the tools you need to help support your daughter as she moves through? So, Lisa, I'm going to ask you a question that came in, and I thought it was a great question. It was around, during the pandemic, we've all reevaluated what is important. And for many of us, that sense of community and belonging really matters. So how does the HCPA help parents feel that they are connected and part of the community?
Yeah, thanks, Maggie. So the HCPA's mission is two missions mainly. One is parent engagement, and the other is fundraising and giving back to the school. So in terms of parent engagement, we have many events throughout the year that are to invite the parents to special events. So before COVID hit, in the fall of 2019, we were able to hold several of our annual events that we hold every year. So one of them is participating in the Celebration Saturday weekend, which is an amazing day of school spirit, fundraising and giving back to the community, and fun activities for the girls. And it's a great opportunity for parents to meet each other, sometimes for the first time because it's early in the fall. And many of the parents volunteer to help out with that day. So that happened in the fall of 2019. And then we also have an annual parent luncheon with a guest speaker where parents are invited to attend the luncheon, and they sit with other parents from their grade. And again, it's often the first time that parents are meeting other parents from their grade. So that's another event the HCPA sponsors. And then COVID hit in the spring of 2020, and amazingly, we were still able to hold many of our HCPA events virtually. One of the main functions of the HCPA, and Tanuja can speak to this also, is we have a grade rep. We have at least 2 grade reps for every grade in the school. And the main purpose of the grade rep is to organize parent socials. Usually they're in person at someone's home for either a coffee morning or a cocktail hour in the evening. Often both the mom and the dad are able to attend. And because of COVID, we've been continuing to hold these, but virtually. So really fun nights like tonight, or actually tomorrow night, I'm attending a cocktail party virtually with a mixologist. We've held guest speakers, all kinds of fun events for parents virtually during COVID. And then we've had some of our other annual events like the father-daughter dance and the junior school amazing race, which is for fathers and daughters, but virtually because of COVID. So we're able to pivot, we're able to continue to engage the parents, and we are very much looking forward to continuing our on-campus or in-person events shortly. Like things are starting to happen now, things are starting to open up, and we're planning for those events in person.
Thanks, Lisa. And I know a number of our applicants have spoken about being, trying to juggle career, family, school activities. And Kendra, you spoke about your kids being engaged outside of school. I know you've got quite a career. How have you found balance or ways to get involved in the school while sort of juggling all that?
Yeah, so I'm a partner at Deloitte and I run the financial services business, and it's, I'd say, probably 2 full-time jobs some days, especially right now with the market being so hot. And my husband also works, and we have 2 kids who are busy. And you're right, Maggie, it's always a juggling act. One of the things I've really enjoyed is the dynamic between the moms. I've heard from other moms at other schools that sometimes there's an us versus them from the working moms versus the working moms. And in fact, I find the exact opposite within the Havergal mom groups. We have chats on WhatsApp where we keep each other abreast and make sure no one forgets that today is swimming day or that it's number one dress on Friday. And many times those women help me stay connected to things that I'm missing because of work. And that includes, snapping a shot of the girls at a sporting activity, or mentioning that, just a reminder, it's so-and-so's birthday this weekend and you need to get a gift. I've found the women to really be looking out for each other, which is something I respect and value. I also find that the tenor of the fathers is really engaged, and I've been really grateful to have both my husband and many of the other husbands in both my daughter's grades really showing up. And Lisa mentioned that amazing race. It's a really special thing in the lower school for fathers and daughters to be together and competing in that way. But there's many other ways that everyone is pulled in. I do believe that the value of connecting into the work lives of parents is something that Havergal has tapped into and brought back into the curriculum and the activity of the school. Finding people who are experts or who are visionary or who are eminent in their various different careers is something that Garth and the team bring in to the curriculum and into the events at the school. And they do that both with parents and with all girls. And I think that's a really important part of the value proposition. It's not just the transactional experience in the classroom, it's being able to tap into that children's author or that wellness expert or that legal expert, depending on the topic, whether it's in assembly or prayers or in a specific course. So I hope to continue to add value. They seem to be more interested in my husband's VR game design than they are in management consulting most of the time. But one day they'll call on me to participate in one of those too, Maggie.
So I'm super cognizant of time, but there's been some great questions asked. And one of them was around the journey at Havergal, and what was as you expected and what surprised you. And so, Michelle, I'm going to ask you to start with that. As a newer member of our community, what has been something that you expected and you're very glad is there, and what was something that surprised you?
I think it's like, as I expected, Havergal, they really, look for all the girls, the academic excellence. That's as I expected. Mm-hmm. Even during pandemic, online classes keep learning, keep going nonstop. And I amazed by how creative and how fast the Havergal, come up with solution and come up with to tangle the pandemic issues, that like all the problems really quick. For special for the young kids, for the junior school, I say it's more challenge. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was amazed by that. They host even have last it was grade 1, right? My younger one, they have every Friday they can have, they have lunch together virtually. And then they look at on the camera showing the food, the lunch, what do you eat today? And, that's a good way to, to connect the girls, they more interactively.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that was a real key for our faculty during the pandemic. Was you all know as parents that relationship between our students and our faculty is incredibly special, and ensuring that each of our students feels known and valued for where they're at right now, and finding ways to keep that sense of connection with their classmates and with their teachers was so important. And speaking of that, Alnar, I'm going to ask you this next question. What has your experience been like with the faculty at Havergal?
Thanks, Maggie. Our experience with the faculty has been extremely positive. As I mentioned earlier, the whole environment at Havergal, it's just a warm place. Like, we think of it as a second home for our daughter. Our daughter thinks of it that way as well. And every time she goes into the school, she's excited to get out of the car, go see her friends, and, you know, just hop into school mode. And the faculty is there to greet her. So when we drop her off in the laneway every morning, the heads of the school, I can't even say enough about them. Of course, they have the competence and the leadership skills to run the school, but it is the caring and kind aspect just of their demeanor, their sunny disposition. They're there to greet the girls with a big smile, rain or shine, and it just feels like a second home. So we don't even think of the faculty as faculty per se. We think of them as people that really do care about our girls, and they show it in so many different ways.
Well, thank you, Alnar. And I know the faculty would be so pleased to hear that. And as you know, speaking of the pandemic, obviously we're still in the thick of it. And we would love to be able to have all of our applicants come on campus. And as soon as it's safe to do so, we would. But as parents, when I look at this group, you've worked with us as a school through this transition. When we first, you know, we had a giggle in the admission office the other day. Remember when we thought it was going to be a 2-week shutdown, and that was it. So seems like an awful long time ago. But as you think about what the school has done, being online, working through a timetable that allowed our upper school students and junior school students to be here on campus every day, but working through all of the protocols. Lisa and Kendra, I'll ask you this question, and maybe you can start, Lisa. What was your experience as a parent, and what was your daughter's experience during this pandemic?
Yeah, so I was extremely impressed with how quickly Havergal was able to pivot and come up with a plan of how. So initially, when it hit, we went straight to online learning. And they didn't miss a beat. Like the girls were, the learning didn't stop. There's nothing academically they were lacking. And they were immediately, there was a plan for how they were going to get online and continue with their learning. And my daughter felt connected the whole time. She was continuing her learning. Of course, she missed seeing her friends in person. Like nothing can replace that. But academically, I felt like they didn't really miss a beat. And then when the school was allowed to invite the girls back on campus, not all the schools were able to accommodate all the girls or all the students 5 days a week. And Havergal, one, because it's such a large campus, but also they had a timetable, as you mentioned, they were able to cohort the girls and have them on campus 5 days a week. So like my son's school, they were on campus twice a week. So it's just, you know, Havergal figured it out and they were able to get the girls back. And my daughter's experience was pretty good. Like I said, she missed seeing her friends and she was sad about that, but academically she continued to thrive. So we were very happy.
And nice for her in this graduating year that we are back to sports and running a music program. And I will say the grads looked so proud to be wearing their white blazers the first time they sat on those chairs in prayers. So it's nice to have a bit more normalcy for them this year. So Kendra, from the junior school perspective, what was your experience?
You know, the beginning of last year was hard. I think people were still stressed out of, you know, the sort of sudden stop of the year before. And I was just really impressed with the empathy and the time that Kate White and the junior school team took. It's really overwhelming with younger children to do the homeschooling. The older kids are very independent, but I had an SK student, you know, it was tough. I thought they were very reasonable. They were really wellness focused. So focused on the whole girl and not trying to, you know, push a certain number of hours out or a certain amount of busyness. I heard of other schools where the kids were online for really ridiculous amounts of time and or really a lot of work being downloaded to the parents, which I thought Havergal did a very good job of managing. I also felt there was a lot of connection still between the students and between myself and the teachers as well. I was very impressed with the things they did to try to keep the girls focused and energized. And I was also impressed with their openness to it being an imperfect experience, and some things were just not going to be. And I'll use an example, like my daughter Marin was in grade 2. Normally they would start cursive writing in grade 2. They made a decision that that would not be a positive experience for the girls or for the parents. And here we are now in grade 3, and guess what? They're totally caught up because the grade 2 teachers and the grade 3 teachers work together. I also really appreciated the way the community came together and didn't take an adversarial or antagonistic approach with the school. Obviously, like there was lots of disappointment for all parents over the last couple of years, but the tenor of the engagement between parents and each other, parents and the faculty, and parents and the administration was really around like, okay, we're in this together. To Alnar's three-legged stool, like this is our environment. We're going to try to make it positive, and we're not going to hold the school accountable to things that they can't control. And we're not going to, see this as a transactional relationship. This is a multi-decade relationship between ourselves and our daughters in the school, and we want to make sure that that we all come out of this with respect and with the integrity to our values. And I really felt that that was the way it was handled. So I'm hugely celebratory. I saw Kate Waite today at the coffee moment. I saw Dr. Sampson today, and I said, you guys have to be proud of the culture that we survived this experience with. And yeah, we want to get the masks off, and we want to get them in the pool more. And there's all sorts of things. We can't wait. Each milestone is exciting. These vaccinations for the kids are exciting. But the bigger thing for me is we don't have war wounds and scars in the relationships between the parents and the faculty and the administration, because we did it together.
I think that's really well said, Kendra. And when I think of the Havergal values of courage, compassion, inquiry, and integrity that led us through this pandemic and will continue to lead us well past this pandemic, I think it is what allowed us to be such a strong community. There's been we've got 1 minute left, and there's been a question popped in the chat, which we often get, which is basically what makes us different from other private girls' schools and better. I will never say that there's, Havergal is the best school out there, because I think it's all about fit. I don't believe there's a better school than Havergal, but I'm going to put everybody on the spot a little bit. What is the event or the word that makes you think of the Havergal community the most?
I'm going to say spirit. I mean, if you've ever gone to any, sporting match, like the hockey games or soccer, I mean, Havergal girls just bring a huge sense of spirit and camaraderie, that they're just there to cheer on their team and their fellow students. And I just think that's just so unique to Havergal, that the whole school can come together and just cheer on and take their time to go and attend these events. I think that's just
Michelle, what about you? What would you say it is?
I would say community.
Mm-hmm.
Sense of the community, and then the girls will feel they are being a Havergal, and they would love to go to school every day. Yeah, also as a parent, HCPA work really hard to keep all the parents together and get them really informed for all the key informations. I think that's very critical.
Great, thank you. Alnar, what about you?
I would say resilience. And this is something that is, popped its head in many different places since I've been co-chair with Lisa for the HCPA. We're faced with this external challenge. The pandemic is what I'm talking about. And, everything just kind of stopped in its tracks, and we didn't really know which way to go with it. But what was incredible is how all of our teams of volunteers stepped up and, put our heads together. We brainstormed ways to connect with each other, find alternate ways for parents to engage, because our community spirit is that strong. We wanted to be together. We couldn't because of the in-person restrictions, but we found these ways to jump the hurdles and, conquer the obstacles and find alternate ways to connect with each other at a time that it meant so much to all of us. So resilience on the parts of the parents and our community, and resilience on the part of the school, the faculty, and the leadership.
That's great, Alnar, and I would echo that. It was such a pleasure partnering with parents as we went through this together. And you know, we often say the classroom is the third teacher. Well, we certainly had a fourth teacher last year with all of the parents. So Kendra, what about you? The event or the word that you think best describes your feelings around Havergal?
I think it's friendship. I think that having strong female friendships has been a defining force in my life, and on all fronts, I can track that back, not just to the women I met through Havergal and over the years because of Havergal in the community, but also to the values and the social emotional intelligence I gained and learned around female friendship at Havergal. I think as women, it's maybe not always something that is supported and taught and fostered over years, and I feel extremely grateful. And I think it's something very special about the school.
Thank you. And Lisa, over to you.
Yeah, so I really want to paint a picture for the parents of Hockey Day for Havergal. So my daughter's a hockey player, as I mentioned, and if you can picture like a Maple Leafs game with the pom-poms and posters and going, or like a college football game, then that's the image you should have in your head for Hockey Day. So the stadium is packed full of Havergal and BSS students. They've all got the face paint on and the school colors and signs and posters, and they're cheering on the Havergal hockey players in a way like it gives me goosebumps. Like it's actually an amazing sports day for female athletes like you've never seen before. And for me, I actually went to a hockey day before Caitlin decided on Havergal, and I think that was like one of the deciding factors is like, it's just the support that the school gives to their athletes is truly amazing. And the school spirit, it goes across all sports, but on that day, you really see it come through. And it's really exciting. And I'm looking forward to Hockey Day in 2022. So,
and it's hard to believe that there was little Caitlin in net the very first time in grade 7 in that very important game, and the cheers she got from the crowd and the prefect was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think for me, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody on this panel. And when I think of the connections that I've made through my over 20 years at Havergal now, for me, it has to be Celebration Saturday, because I think it is such a celebration of all that is Havergal. And I know we've touched on it, but for me to see the new families come on campus for their very first big event, to experience, especially for the young ones, working with the older students at stalls. It's a community event that actually is not a fundraiser for Havergal, but for our community partners, which is so typical of Havergal, to ensure we are constantly reaching out. And then in the evening to go to the reunion weekend cocktail party and see those grads from 5 years ago, from 10 years ago, from 30 years ago, and to see the connection that they still have. It makes you realize just how very important Havergal is. Beyond a place of education, it's a place of community and of constancy that I think really allows us to be such an innovative school. So to everybody on the panel, thank you for being here today. To all of our guests, thank you so much for being a part of this. It's been a pleasure meeting with you all every Tuesday. We are looking forward to continuing to get to know your families through the admission process. But thanks everybody for being a part of today. Take care.
Take care.